I like that optimism and that excitement that's going on in Detroit. Now, contrast that with what we saw last night, appropriately in the desert. And it's been a desert for a long, long time for the Arizona Cardinals. And Jim, you covered sports for a long time. You know what it's like when an owner is sitting around looking at just taking stock of his franchise, just kind of sitting there on a Monday night. That's a prime time position. And so Monday nights just hit different. Sunday at 1 on the East Coast, Sunday at 4:25, you lose a game, you lose another one, you make the same mistakes. Okay, fine. At least you don't feel like the whole league is watching you. It's just your fan base is disappointed, but not the league. Last night, the league has one game to watch, and it's the Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. And if you're looking at that, I always used to say this, Jim. The thing I like about the playoffs is that the playoffs let you know just how far away you are from the top. And when you get to the end of it, your team makes the playoffs, and then you watch the Super Bowl participant and you say, nah, we're not close to that. Or, hey, we're pretty close to that. We didn't make it this year, but we're close. But for the Cardinals, they have that going on. They have a losing streak. They have a really nasty home streak. I think 11 out of 12, or they lost 12 of the last 13 at home. And the Super Bowl, where's the Super Bowl this year? Arizona. So you're going to see the world. The world is going to come to you, and they'll be talking about two participants. They ain't going to be talking about you. And it will really be clear how far you are from real, true contender status. Man, it's a sad organization, isn't it?
Michael, it's funny that you bring them up because I was speaking to someone internally there last week, so even before this game, who was telling me that, I shouldn't say this one person, there were multiple people I spoke to, and were saying that, man, it's not a good situation in Arizona right now. And it's funny that you bring up the owner, because the owner, I always talk about leadership starts at the top. And what people were telling me there is that folks at the top aren't being held accountable, and that starts with the ownership. When you look at some of the things that Cliff Kingsbury has done, you say, who's holding him accountable? Well, from what I understand internally, it's not the GM. And so when you look at some of the moves the GM has made or has not made, you say, who's holding him accountable? You would say the owner. I was told owner's not holding him accountable. So as I look at the Cardinals going forward, it's hard to think about how they're going to turn this around, because Michael Bidwell just extended the GM and the coach prior to the season. And you could make the case that there was no justification for it, right?
Listen. I love Jim. I love working at NBC Sports, based in Connecticut. But I kind of wish, in my daydreams, NBC Sports were based in Arizona, because they were giving away. They were just giving away contracts, man. Last year, this calendar year, as a matter of fact, giving away contracts. So Kyler Murray, contract for you. Cliff Kingsbury, contract extension for you. Steve Keim, general manager, contract extension for you. Everybody's getting paid in Arizona. Hey, paychecks are up, production is down. That's the American way. Yes, let's go get it. Let's get paid and really have not a lot to show for it. And speaking of shows, all of this is playing out on Hard Knocks. So, but you said something there. You said something interesting. I want you to follow up on it. The owner is not being held accountable. Who typically holds ownership accountable in any organization?
What I meant by that is the owner is not holding the GM accountable.
Okay,
and the GM then is not holding the coach accountable. And the coach is definitely not holding some of the players accountable. Look, Michael, there is a problem with discipline and respect in terms of the hierarchy. When a player comes off the field and says to the head coach, calm the F down, right? I don't know of any player who would walk off the field and say to Bill Belichick, calm the F down and would still
and
be
then
on
go
the
back
roster.
on the field. And then
Exactly.
right. And then go back on the field.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's just a small sample size, and I don't want to get too deep into it right now because I'm sure it's something I'll be working on at the end of the season. But there are problems there internally. And to me, they've got to get those things addressed. And there's a culture issue there, too, that has to be addressed in terms of accountability. And we knew when Bruce Arians was there, for instance, Bruce was holding everybody accountable, at least in terms of his players. And he didn't play favorites, so to speak. You had to earn his trust. I've had those conversations with Larry Fitzgerald about it, where Larry once told me Bruce nearly broke him because Larry was always accustomed to having such a good relationship with his head coach. And in terms of what Bruce did to him early, Bruce treated him as if he was an undrafted free agent. Some of the ways he talked to him and some of the things he had him do. And Larry had to earn Bruce's trust to the point that they're close now. And Larry later bought Bruce a car after he, he injured Bruce's shoulder when they were doing a hug after a victory or something, and got him a Christmas present. And that's a hell of a present to get him a Mercedes convertible, for injuring his shoulder. If Larry wants to come knock my shoulder out of the joint, in return for a,
what kind of car it was? What kind of car was it?
It was a Mercedes convertible.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Mercedes.
Yes.
You did say that. I wasn't listening. My fault.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So anyway,
yeah,
they got issues in Arizona is the bottom line.
And they've gone from Larry Fitzgerald gifting Bruce Arians with the Mercedes to DeAndre Hopkins last night gifting the Patriots with a touchdown that turned the game around. I mean, you see this? I mean, there's so much, and Troy Aikman said this in the broadcast, is one of the things that he didn't pull punches on last night. I got more on that. He pulled punches last night. And you're going to be paid that much money. Don't be pulling punches during the game. And I kind of know why. He kind of gave us a hint why.
I like this Michael Holley. Listen,
hey, you got to be a truth teller. You got to be a truth teller. Hurt feelings, that's okay. That's okay. You can stand on the truth, and you feel good about it. I might as well get there. I might as well get there right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just jump ahead. Troy Aikman said at the very beginning of the broadcast, and how predictable is this? Very beginning of the broadcast, they show a shot, that ownership shot that every network does. Okay. Every network does it. And I know I'm close to home now. Okay. I'm close. I know we got football. I know we got Sunday Night Football. I understand. But every network does that. Here's the ownership shot. And depending on who the owner is, sometimes that love letter, that ode to fill in the blank name of the owner goes on for a while. So last night they show Robert Kraft with his son Jonathan. By the way, that's not his only son. He's got other kids now. Okay, they always say, "There's Robert Kraft and his son Jonathan." He ain't an only child. Hey, listen, if I'm one of them other sons, I'm like, damn, Dad, can I get that seat?
Just so it's they like know Jerry Jones with Jerry Jr., right? Nobody talks about Jerry Jr. They just talk about Steven and Charlotte.
Steven, right? Listen, there's a Jonathan Kraft. There's also a Daniel Kraft too. There's like Danny. He's like there's a lot. There's a Josh Kraft. There are lots of Krafts. Anyway, so they're showing this shot of Robert Kraft and his son Jonathan. He said, "Oh," Aikman says, "Hey, not many owners stop by the broadcast booth to say hello." Well, why do you think he stopped by the broadcast booth to say hello, Troy, right before the game started? You think he just wanted to check in with you? You don't think he could have done that earlier in the week? Maybe so you could, say things in a certain kind of way. And sure enough, Troy Aikman last night, I kept waiting for this quarterback, this Hall of Fame quarterback, well paid. I don't begrudge anybody making money. But you got a record contract, and I want to get my money's worth. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.